Hello and welcome to the Voice of the Sky Blue Army podcast. And we drew to AFC Wimbledon away. Our first away game of the season. It's our first point of the league. A lot of people, well, you could have mixed opinion on it. A lot of people are saying, yeah, it's good that we finally got a point under our belt. A lot of other people are saying we were playing a team we should have beat. We're joined by Ethan and Max. Say hello.
Hello.
Yeah. So, firstly, we drew our second game of the season. At least we're not going to go on a kind of a winless. Well, no, I can't say winless, but at least we didn't lose again, if that makes any sense. But there's a lot of negatives to take from it as well. I know it's again the second game of the season, but we need to kind of up our game now and go full steam ahead, really. Max, what did you think about the whole result?
Well, going into the game, after the Scunthorpe game, which I thought we were very lucky to lose, I was expecting us to get the full 3 points. I thought AFC Wimbledon were a side who were always going to struggle. They struggled last year. They're a small club, not massive budget, so I kind of expected us to go in and win the game. But lacking a goal scorer, I always thought we weren't going to score a lot of goals. It was going to be a tight game. I thought we would edge it, but coming back with a draw, I'll take it, because by the sounds of it, they were all over us. Liam O'Brien sounded like he had a very good game. I was impressed with that, but overall, I think a point's okay. I think we can only build on that, I guess. But anyway, yeah, I was satisfied with the point.
Ethan, what was your opinion on the point?
Same here. I was going into the game thinking we can take all 3 points here, but then realising we don't actually have a main goal scorer, which is our own downfall in a way. I feel like watching it on a live stream, I feel like we were physically dominated all over the pitch. I feel like it was kind of, in a way, men against boys physically, not ability-wise, but physically. I feel like we really need to bring in a goal scorer soon through the loan window, whether that be Kyler Chaplin or anyone else. Looking at it as well, Liam O'Brien had a good game. I saw it as a penalty shout. That should have been a penalty, so I feel like we're lucky to come away with 1 point. But it's a good point to build on for the rest of the season.
Yeah, as you were saying, they had a very physical side. I was actually at the game, and a lot of the players on their team were 6 foot or taller. So pretty much, if you wanted to be in that team, you had to be 6 foot tall. I think that was a rule. But yeah, there was the penalty that you mentioned at the end as well. Well, wait, what am I thinking? Yeah, Yeah, the penalty you mentioned at the end now. Yeah, I agree. That was definitely a penalty. The funny thing was, where I was standing was like right where the fourth official was, so the halfway line, and there's about a 2 metre gap from where I was and the Wimbledon fans, and their reactions were pretty funny considering there was a very, very late call of a penalty. Yeah, I think we're very, very lucky that we didn't give them the penalty, because they would have pretty much scored it.
Yeah,
and I don't think coming forward and shooting they were the best team, but there were so many times where they easily could have scored, and we were put under so much pressure from them.
That proves Liam O'Brien did a great game, isn't it? He's kept out all those shots, didn't he?
I said on the train on the way home that he was my man of the match, and I don't think I ever give a goalkeeper the man of the match. I mean, even at Wembley the first time where Lee Burge had a brilliant game, I still kind of think the players outfield do a better job, but yeah.
It was just hammered all day, wasn't it? He kept shot after shot after shot after shot, and just gets clean sheet, but fair play to him.
Yeah, I think Hyam and Davis as well. Every time they got the ball, they headed it and they kicked it. It was just straight out, and still they were getting past us easily.
I was watching it. Davies looked like he had a very good game.
Yeah.
Him, Hyam and Davies seemed like quite a good partnership. But I don't know where Willis is either, though.
Willis was there. Willis was on the bench, but he wasn't. Well, he was sat on the bench, but he wasn't on the bench, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like, he was sat with the players, but he wasn't able to come on. He was there in a tracksuit, pretty much.
I hope he's not on
I doubt he's on his way out. I highly.
Yeah, I can't see him.
I just hope it's a niggle, nothing else.
Yeah, I think it's a little injury. Unless he was chatting up the physio bird, I think it's a little injury.
He's had a lot of reoccurring niggling injuries though. I think over the past couple of years. I think we've overplayed him, like due to the lack of players we've had in recent years.
Especially that season where we got relegated. We used to play in Saturdays, Tuesdays, Thursdays. You know what I mean?
And he was 100% fit, was it?
He was constantly being whacked in the deep end.
Yeah. That's
May I ask? Oh, sorry. What do I mean? May I ask? May I add? Him and Lee Burge are really the only players in this squad that have played so many games, except Doyler, but Doyler's a different generation, really. Lee Burge and Willis are the only two players that are still here from when we had Madison, Armstrong, Murphy, which genuinely feels like yesterday.
Oh no, it shows players move on quickly, don't they? It's
young players as well. Like they're not old at all. Like I think they're about 23 or 24. Quote me if I'm wrong, but they're not old players. So it just shows like how young the team was like then.
I bet you now, if that team was everyone 2 years older, we would have promoted that season. I reckon it's like an experience.
I think we would have won the league. Not like I'm not joking. I know Wigan.
Everyone thought we won the league when we beat Gillingham at home 4-1.
No, I'm being genuinely serious. I think if we hadn't signed Joe Cole, because if he was 2 years older, he wouldn't have been in the squad.
Oh no, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
but
2 years older. Lee Burge, firstly, if you think of how good Burge is now to how good he was then, I'd say he was definitely better than Reece Charles Cook. Jordan Willis, I think.
Disagree with that as well.
You disagree?
Yeah, Reece Charles Cook, a fantastic shot stopper. Fantastic. There was that one Port Vale away one season where the ball hit the free kick and his reactions were unbelievable.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, he was brilliant that year. I do remember him being that good.
I'd take him back to Cov now. I still think I really rate him highly.
I strongly disagree with both of you. I think Lee Burge is just a better goalkeeper all round.
Yeah, now he is a better goalkeeper. But
there's one problem with Lee Burge.
Except, yes, I was genuinely about to say, except it's just distribution. He's a brilliant player.
He hasn't got a right foot, and when he uses his left foot, he goes that's where throwing.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, he can improve on that. Oh, I agree.
I think at the start of the games where all the players are doing shooting practice, I think we should just stick O'Brien in goal and have Burge do the shooting. And it probably, that's the thing as well, because like if you really think of it, if you really think of it, like, I'd rather it hit Rosehead. I don't think he gets the ball that high.
The actual game, yeah.
Awkward silence.
Were you impressed with the result on Saturday? Just bringing that to a close before we move on to Tuesday night. Who do you think we play?
Well, was I impressed? No, not at all. I felt like we were just battered by them, to be honest. I felt they were definitely the better team. We didn't deserve more than a draw. But before the game, we all went into it and said we should win 2 or 3-0, because I spoke to someone before the game. They said, well, you realise Wimbledon will probably go down this season, then they're not. And the fact that they went in for our 4th best centre-back says a lot about their team as well.
Exactly, yeah.
So if they're looking at players that are pretty much League 2 standard, because Rod McDonald, he did good for Northampton in League 2 and he did pretty good for us first half of last season. So he's a League 2 player, if that makes sense.
It's just form for him, isn't it, really?
Yeah, he dropped off like a stone, didn't he?
It was fantastic first half of the season. It shows footballers evolve around form these days. Not the good form, and you're out the squad, aren't you, really?
Yeah, one game in particular that if you look at form, MK Dons away last year. I don't know how we won that, because half of the team was so bad that day. Like, yeah, I know. Like, it was a tap in from about 5 yards, and I know we won, and it was a brilliant occasion. But if you think of the game, we were crap. Like,
Oh yeah, they couldn't pass a ball around. Neither could they.
oh no.
It was just
a bad game. Yeah, it was a bad game.
It was a bad game to watch.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. But guys, would you make any changes to the squad that played against AFC Wimbledon on Saturday for the game against Oxford? Because it's a cup game against Oxford, so do you reckon Robbins will make any changes, or do you reckon he'll stick with a light squad?
Well, let me start. I think I don't think Robbins cares too much about the cup. This cup anyway. I know Oxford have lost their first 2 games of the season, so we've got a little bit of an advantage there. But the fact that we're playing in a cup that I don't think Robbins sees relevant, I don't think he sees the checker trade relevant at all. You mean, if you think of it, last season in the checker trade trophy, he didn't really care, if that makes any sense. Last season in the Carabao Cup, we lost 3-1 in the first round to Blackburn, if anyone remembers that game.
Yeah.
And he didn't even play our strongest squad against the League One side when we were doing a really good League One side, may I add, as well, but in Blackburn. So yeah, for Tuesday, I think he's probably going to play O'Brien again. I'd like to see Grimmer play, just because we haven't, and I want him to prove. Because I don't know what's happened. Like, I think Robbins just kind of has a feeling with some of the players that he likes them more than others. Because for some reason, Grimmer's not in the squad. But I went to pretty much mostly every game last year, and I know for a fact Grimmer was the best player in our squad. Well, not the best, one of the best players.
I've seen on Twitter that in Dujon Sterling's loan deal, that if we don't play him at a certain amount of games, we get fined.
We get
I've
fined.
heard something similar to that as well. Like, there's an agreement that we play him, like,
A certain amount, so if we don't, we get fined. So that's what.
Yeah, but like, what's the number on a certain amount of games? 10?
I don't know.
How long's the loan?
Season. Is it?
Yeah, so you'd expect about 20 games, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Exactly. But
I like him, but he's defensively a bit suspect at times. I thought last season, and I'm not saying he's worse than Sterling, but he's not as good as I think everyone makes him out to be. And it's an unpopular decision. I'm aware, but I don't know. That's just what I thought about him.
Well, I think for the Tudors game, I think Corey Dye might be put into it. I think Junior Brown will be brought into it for left back. I think Grimmer will be put in. Who else hasn't been given a shout so far this season? Shipley. Probably given a shout. Just players that haven't been given a shout really this season. This is their game to really, really say, I want to be the first team for the season.
Yeah.
well, Corey Dye will probably die in a car crash because he's always on his phone.
I saw him 95 miles an hour today on his Snapchat.
Stupid. He's so dangerous. Like, honestly, he's so arrogant. I've never come across a footballer who's so arrogant. Do you know what I mean?
You say that, and I thought he was very arrogant until I pissed him off. And then all of a sudden, when I went over to him, he wanted a full-on conversation, which I found was like pretty funny. And you know, I don't like to abuse footballers over social media, which we didn't do at all. The whole situation with me being on this story was because I spoke the truth in a video, which I've done over many players. You mean the only player, and I think this is the only player I think we ever overdone it on is Ryan Haynes. You mean?
You can tell that was banter in a way.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think if he watched the videos, I guarantee he'd know it was a joke.
You can tell it's a joke.
It was a joke as well. There are actually times like where I would actually say like off camera, and I'm not trying to like say I do WWE fake stuff on my videos because you know I try and be myself and everything. Don't know what we're talking about videos. We'll have to move on in a minute because I don't know what I'm actually leading to here. But just with Ryan Haynes, it was kind of a joke, and there were times I actually would say maybe Haynes would be better playing over Stokes in certain games. But yeah, again, if someone's having a bad game, you can say, oh, he's not playing well, or that was poor goalkeeping. If you go onto Twitter and tweet them straight after the game, oh, you were crap, you did not fit to wear the shirt, all this, then that gets to them.
Yeah.
And
the football should be used to that. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what they signed up for a little bit. Like, it's impossible to not have haters, to not have people.
Especially if you sign up for our club, we've got a massive fan base.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to get hate. There's no way you're not going to get hate.
Avoid it, yeah.
yeah, like the only time I can look at a footballer and think they deserve to get hated on everything, the only real footballer who deserves to be despised, other than players like Sol Campbell who have left a club for a rival, is Adam Johnson. And I know that sounds really stupid, but
Adam Johnson.
yeah, the only footballer who I think, or I would praise someone for just going on there and abusing him, is Adam Johnson, just because of what he is. But then if you think of like players like Sol Campbell who left Spurs to go to Arsenal, think of Tevez who at the time went from United to City, which wasn't a big deal, too much, but if you think of it now, he's a massive deal.
I think he must be celebrating for you, like bearing in mind when they used to play for you.
Adebayor.
Yeah, Adebayor did that, didn't he? Yeah, remember that celebration. I don't know, I don't like it.
Anyway, I think we should move back onto the topic.
I think we should, move back on topic.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you both.
Okay.
If we sign Connor Chaplin and things do go well, where do you think we will end up finishing the league?
We're not going to sign Connor Chaplin.
If we do.
Same position, because I don't think he's actually that good.
There is all this hype around here, but it's not proven.
Right, I'll be perfectly honest. First things first, I don't think we're going to sign Connor Chaplin. Even like we're talking about loan deals here.
Yeah, loan deals.
So I don't think we're going to sign Connor Chaplin at all. If we were to bring in someone on loan, it would probably be someone from a Premiership club or a Championship club who don't get game time. Oh God, he made his debut yesterday. Didn't do anything. Just last 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm just
that's a bad move for his career.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stick with 10th.
Yeah, I think just up on the playoffs. It's going to be a rebuild season, and next season will be a kind of push on, if we can.
Yeah, he's just not a goal scorer. Like there's all this hype about him, but has he actually scored many goals at Portsmouth? He hasn't. Like that's what we need, a goal scorer. That's the thing we're missing in our team. And until we get that, I agree with you guys. I don't think we're going to do as well as people make out we will do.
To be fair to Von Chaplin, most of his appearances have been off the bench. He's not been given that many minutes to prove himself.
Yeah.
So maybe if you just get full 90 minutes each week in, week out, he may be able to start scoring, but you never know with football.
One thing to move on to then about the whole ownership, and this is kind of a bit of a debate because I understand you both dislike Sisu still being here, and so do I. But someone said this to me yesterday, and they were like, if you really cared about Sisu, and Sisu was the biggest problem at this club, you wouldn't still be going to these games. Some people are Sisu out, some people are Sisu in, but really, at the end of the day, Coventry City is always a priority. And to be honest, if Sisu left, I'll be honest, if Sisu left, the first game there'll be about 20,000, and after that, stick back to the same attendance.
No, well, I disagree with that. It's 20,000, and I'll get that game. We play well, good players playing, we win. I say 15,000 next week. We keep winning, it increases again. It keeps increasing. See, it's difficult.
Yeah, but Ethan, you've got to remember as well. You see the whole not one penny more and all this.
Yeah.
Really, the only people that would come back full time, there's probably a group of about 100, 150 at best.
I'm part of that because I'm not part of it. I don't go to home games, so I will be part of that. I'll be the first one in line for a season ticket for the next 10 years.
I did it last year and it didn't work. Sisu was still here, and I'm just thinking, I'm here to support my club. Do you know what I mean?
The one thing I'll just add to that as well is you say this, but does your £300 or whatever you spend on a season ticket really matter to this big company that are still going to get all the money because everyone's still buying shirts, everyone's still buying tickets for the away games, which a percentage goes to.
It's I feel like I've taken part in this. I feel like I am affecting them in some sort of way. It may be a penny to them, it may be £5 or £50, but I feel like I am affecting them somewhere along the line.
Yeah, but you've always got to remember as well, there's so many new fans that come to the games, and this will always happen. Like when any of us here have kids in the future, I pretty much could guarantee, unless your missus is a big fan of some other club, that you'll probably end up taking them to football if they like it or if they're into it. So it's just kind of the thing, everyone, that you always all the time have new fans. People move into the city, especially uni students as well. I do see a few of them that will actually come to the games, and I think there was one person who used to come to every home game, and he used to always kind of like stand outside and meet all the players. And I saw him. He started going to a few away games, so it kind of shows what that has as a club. You mean, I'll be perfectly honest, everyone really goes to Coventry City because it was the first club they went to, whether it was with their parents or whether it was just because they were the local team. Say if my dad had took me to any team, Crewe, Crystal Palace, Carlisle, anywhere, I guarantee I'd probably support them now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And again, sorry, I'm kind of dragging this on, and I'm talking about random stuff, but it all comes down to who you support and who you want to spend the money on, because Sisu get revenue from everything. Sanjay's pie, Sisu probably make 40p out of that. But that's 40p they didn't have before, and you've also got to remember they made a profit last season as well.
Yeah.
So
All the fans came back to the FA Cup games.
And Wembley and the Accrington game, it hasn't worked. Honestly, it's not worked.
I've tried it. It's not worked. The fan base is too divided for this to work. Like, there's too many fans who will still come to give Sisu enough money to carry on. Like, it's like that we're in a poison chalice, if you like. We can't do anything about the situation. Like, we've tried boycotting, it's not worked. Fans come back. Fans have the right to spend the money on their team. Do you know what I mean? You can't stop fans spending their hard-earned money going to football. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the only thing that we can rely on at the moment is court cases.
Yeah.
And the politics that finds them.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at Blackpool, and if any of you are going to Blackpool in a few weeks, you'll realise that their ground is pretty much empty.
Oh yeah.
They've got a stand on the side which is wasn't there before they got to the Premiership, but they have that stand which is always closed unless like a big away following come, and then they have the Armfield stand which will probably have a couple hundred fans, and the only ones that probably go to them games are the newer supporters. Or
it's upsetting. It's upsetting to see clubs like that run to the ground. It really is. Because if you look at back in the day, they were high flying in the Premier League. They were doing so well, and now look at them. It's upsetting with the clubs these days, isn't it? But it's difficult.
If they're doing it properly, like they're boycotting games, look, their owners are still there. Do you know what I mean? Like, they took 6,000 to Wembley when they got promoted. We took like 37,000. Their owners are still there. Do you know what I mean? It's just.
We took more to Milton Keynes away. Like, you have to.
Yeah, it just shows you. Right. That's why this not a penny more thing will work. Do you know what I mean?
Did Forest Green Rovers take more to Wembley than they did?
Is that
similar amount? Yeah.
pretty much a similar amount?
Yeah,
Just think of clubs that have taken that are a lot smaller. Tranmere, I think maybe Boreham took more. So.
It's just an embarrassing situation.
Yeah.
I think.
Anyway, you all split divided in the comments, I'm sure, about this argument. It's best to move on.
Yeah.
Jess?
I actually hate arguing about Sisu, but the one thing is, like, they could be here for another year or another 20 years. I don't want to get to the age of 40 odd and have boycotted home games for 20 years, if that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I completely agree with that. It's just my opinion,
oh yeah, I'm not slating you for anything. I
Like,
respect people's
I go to
opinions.
most away games, so I'm there. You'll see me at most away games, but it's just the home games I feel like I really need to step back from, which is upsetting. But I'll be back soon, hopefully, if CC do the walk-ons. Anyway, moving on to the new subject, I feel like we should do.
Okay, let's talk more about the league and the upcoming games and away games especially, because looking at our next few fixtures, we've got Plymouth at home, which they're a very tough side to play. We need to play with a home advantage, that we're at home, we are the home side. They have very good support as well, Plymouth. So I think that'll be a tough game. Then having Blackpool and Gillingham both away in the same week.
They have 2 winnable games, in my opinion.
You say they're winnable games, but there was no more winnable game than what we've just had. Like, so.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I think Plymouth will be a tough game. I think I'll take a point against Plymouth because they've got, is it Graham Carey? I think.
Ruben Ramirez,
Yeah, he played well from last year. Like, even a player I think we were right to let go of, but he did well for last year.
I'd take Ruben Ramirez back. He's done so well then last season.
well, it was actually quite sad when Ramirez left.
I really liked him as a player. He was so creative.
It was too lightweight though.
Too lightweight for League 2, but he's perfect for League 1.
Yeah. I don't think we need him though now. I think we've got enough attacking midfielders in this squad who will probably better him.
I would say Bayliss is better than Ramirez.
I'd take him as a backup over behind.
But does he
Bayliss
want
and
to?
Andrew.
Does he want to be a backup?
No, he wants to keep playing week in,
Wouldn't
week
come
out.
down, yeah.
But he enjoyed Coventry. He liked his time there.
He still comes back for his haircut, doesn't he?
Does he actually?
So did most players at that. What's it?
James
Like
Madison.
barbers or something.
That's it, yeah. James Madison goes.
I know. Ben Stevenson comes back. He gets his haircut somewhere in Binley.
No, but I can't believe all players. They're off to Wolverhampton, off to Leicester, off to Plymouth.
And they all come
They
back
take
here.
a massive journey back just for a haircut.
To be honest, Wolves and Leicester isn't too far, but
To be honest.
Plymouth, mate,
Plymouth for
for a
a haircut.
haircut.
Dedication. Yeah.
Oh.
Dedication for you.
They always talk about not cheating on your barber, and I tell you what, gee whiz.
No, he's committed, mate. He's dedicated to the cause.
Fantastic on the lad.
Could imagine Naz on getting the flight home just for a haircut.
I think we're going a bit off topic again.
Oh, I think that's all we do, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the summary of this podcast.
What?
Speak
Just,
about absolutely anything.
you know what? I think we'll get to about episode 20. We'll spend the first 10 minutes talking about the game, and the next half an hour talking about how bad the players' Barnets are. Like, it's just, that's how it goes.
Guys, we're going to Plymouth though. Like, do you reckon we'll win? How do you reckon we'll do? Because I'm not too fussed about Oxford. I just think that's just a thing on the side to worry about. Do you know what I mean?
The only reason I'm going to Oxford is because I'm getting a lift. I'm being perfectly honest. Like, I'm not fussed. If we lose, we lost. Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, is it? Do you know what I mean? Just turn our attention back to the league.
I think I care more about the under 23s than the Carabao Cup, if anything. So. The thing that annoyed me last year is the one game Andreu got injured in was a checker trade game, which was completely irrelevant.
Against Shrewsbury Town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at that game.
I didn't bother, and can I just add, I could walk to the ground in about 15-20 minutes. It was probably about £5-10 to get in, and I just couldn't be bothered. And I think it was in August as well. Which
It's
just
like the checker trade. It's just such a bad cup. Like none of the football fans go because it's like it's a coming with your season ticket. Like you have to pay that bit extra to go, and it's just like nobody can be bothered to go because you're playing like Arsenal under 18s or something. It's like you don't really care. Do you know what I mean? Like who cares?
like, I will be at every game in the checker trade at home, but when it comes to away games, unless it was an under 23s team away, I would only go just because of the ground, not because of... No, like, obviously I'd want to go and watch the team, but I don't think it would be that good of a game. So
bad atmosphere, not many fans. It's just not for me really. I'm not a massive fan of the cup. Those two cups, to be honest.
You mean I think if I mentioned this in the last podcast that you two wasn't on it, but the one way this would actually get so much better is if we just put in the National League teams.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a decent shout.
It isn't hard at all. So
take out the under-23s and all the Premier League and Championship teams, and just whack in the National League, keep it League 1, League 2, National League.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, when you play the National League teams, if we still played them at our ground, it would be such a big occasion for them.
Oh, they love it.
Whoever they're like, obviously there are a few teams like in the National League, like Chesterfield, who wouldn't really appreciate it as much. But if you think of like Braintree, if they went to the, I know it's weird, but if they went to the Rico, it would be such a big occasion. So
that'd be massive for them. It'd be them like one in 10 years, like big FA Cup run, kind of in a way.
And the thing is as well, considering we don't care about it too much, I think not only would it give more of our teams the motivation to play, because you're playing against these non-league teams, you would actually see some of the non-league teams get to probably the quarterfinals.
Yeah, but could you argue like the quality difference between League One and the National League is quite big still? Like, I think it'll be more interesting. I agree, but
I don't think that it's that big of a difference. I think that quality has been pushed down to National League. There has been some good quality players that have had to be pushed down to non-leagues. Like take Dion and Desmond, for example. They are, ability-wise, they're good players. It's just the size has let them down. Ability players have been pushed down lower the leagues.
I think Fortune, and I know you're probably going to laugh because he'd be crap for us, but I don't think Fortune is a National League player. You look at Salford City, they've spent a lot of money on Adam Rooney. So, again, and you said equality wise, but would these under 23s teams fit in League 1 and 2? The only real under 23s teams that probably would are Chelsea under 23s, Man City under 23s, and Man City. Let me add, Man City under 23s aren't actually in it. I don't think. Arsenal under 23s probably.
It's good for these
West Ham would probably fit in League 2. That's only because of how good their academy actually is. But I think our under 23s are better than some of the under 23s teams we've played.
Got a very good academy. Got a very good academy. But that's one thing we've got to keep. Do you know what I mean? Talent that's come out of the club's ridiculous.
Yeah, but then most talent's gone by the time they even reach the first team. We'll take
Sanders,
for example.
Yeah, we should have kept him. He was definitely one for the future, 110%. And now his career's gone down the drain because he signed for Everton under 23s. You know, I remember watching him against Arsenal under 18s, and he bossed it that game.
May I add as well? Does anyone remember Courtney Baker Richardson?
Yeah.
Now at Swansea.
Yeah, he plays at Swansea now.
You see, there's another example of a player going down to non-league. The quality is there.
He went to Leamington when they got promoted, and I went to the promotion game, and their fans loved him. Like honestly, he was brilliant. And after that game, he went to Swansea, which was a really stupid idea, because he could have went to the National League, or even maybe League 2 club would have took him, but he just went straight to the Premiership, and he's never going to get into the Swansea team now. So
money talks, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you guys remember Blair Turgott?
Blair Turgott.
He's at
Leighton, didn't he? Leighton Orient.
I don't know where he is now.
I think he's at Bournemouth. He played against us at home, remember, last season.
Yeah. I'm going to search where he plays for, because I reckon he plays for Maidstone United now.
Maidenhead. I think it's either Bournemouth or Maidenhead, but I'm not quite sure.
He plays for Maidstone United as a winger. Yeah, he's an example, like...
He was at West Ham at one point, wasn't he? That's where we got him from.
He was on loan to us from West Ham.
Yeah, and his career's just gone down the pothole. Because he signed for Stevenage, I think, last summer, and then he's been on loan to, like, National League side. It's been released by Stevenage.
He played. May I just add, he played 13 games for Bournemouth altogether. Man, that guy was in the England under-19s team. And can I just add, that's the same as like Bayliss and Sterling. So it's not easy to.
Yeah.
That proves that the talent is there. It probably could come down to whether way he's managed and the manager. It could be. There's many reasons why his career's not took off like it should have done.
I just think his ability. I think that can be anything. I think there's always a reason for everything, and I think he's obviously not good enough because teams in the higher leagues aren't taking him. He's in this position for a reason.
Well, he's obviously been picked under England in the 19th for a reason, so the ability must be there.
Yeah, well.
He's just dropped off like a stone, hasn't he? Like by the looks of it.
Yeah, well, we.
And that could be why, for like the managers that took him on, or it could be coaches, or it could be his agent, or it could be, the list goes on. It wouldn't be ability-wise, but it would still be there.
Right, so kind of on this subject, I've got a programme which I was reading the other day, because I was on a bit of a rant about James Maddison from Oldham at Home, which was on the 14th of April 2015. So the first season we had Mowbray, and inside there is 4 articles about there's articles about different academy players. We've got Ben Stevenson, Maddison, Kean Harris, and Kyle Spence. Oh, and George Thomas. So they're talking about players that they think will make it. So George Thomas and Maddison both at Leicester. Harris is obviously at Swansea. Stevenson's just signed for Wolves, and Kyle Spence got released. Got released. Went to Hampton and Richmond Borough, Kingstonian, East Grinstead Town, and now he plays for Valdres in Norway. So compare that to the Premier League, to him.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
He played 7 games for the Scotland in the 16s team. So
he's not even Scottish. That's what I don't get. That's another thing I don't get. Like players who have like that little bit, that 1/50 of the Scottish in them, I just think.
I believe we got him from Crystal Palace, so that shows.
Yeah. No, what actually happened was we got him from Crystal Palace, we released him. Crystal Palace signed him. Crystal Palace released him. We signed him for Crystal Palace again.
Can I just add? We signed him from Crystal Palace, so he was probably born in like London or somewhere, which kind of shows how Scottish he is.
Yeah,
it's probably like his dad's uncle's fish is Scottish or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what I mean. It's ridiculous. Like, could Gareth Bale just say like, I'll step foot in England? Does that make me English enough?
Wait, he's actually like the only Welsh player in the Welsh team, like.
Yeah, I know.
That's the thing.
Remember? Have you read that? Remember they're playing Belgium in the Euros. They were looking at the squad. Sam Vokes was born in like England somewhere. Ashley Williams was born in Birmingham. It's just weird, like.
Yeah. It's like the French team.
Anyway, I feel like this has gone a bit too off topic than it should have been.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think everything goes off topic at this point, but we were talking about Kyle Spence and academy graduates and whatever.
Yeah.
So look at our academy now then, because it feels like it changes so quickly. A player can go from someone who's in our academy and such a prospect to one of our best players. A huge example of this would be Tom Bayliss, who, when he started his first game last season, to us, all he really was someone from the academy. 3 minutes in, he scored, and since then, he's been in our team pretty much ever since. So is there anyone noticeably in the under-23 squad who you think will be good enough to play for the first team at some point?
And Kandu, Jonathan and Kandu, the 16-year-old.
Jonathan.
He's going to play for the first team. But he's very highly rated. And I saw it. I think he looked very promising. I think I saw him against Nuneaton. For a 16-year-old, he looked brilliant.
I think we signed. Who's linebacker? Was that Bosmer's name?
Bosmer.
I've seen a few highlights of him. He looks a good player. I think
He's one to get rid of.
I think Zane Westbrook will be on the verge of this season of reaching the first team / under 23.
Well, I've seen Westbrook play in pre-season, and I saw him on trial last season for the under 23s. And I'll be perfectly honest, I don't think he's that good.
No, yeah, he's just a player I think will just get released.
Another one we signed from was it from the VI? No, is this one from Nickelodeon Sports? What's his name?
Morgan Williams.
Morgan Williams, that's the name. I think he'll do well.
We've also signed someone else from the Jamie Vardy Academy, the left back.
McCallum, yeah. We signed him on deadline day, so we went from Tom Davis to McCallum. If that makes any, if that puts anything in perspective. I'm going to go with Jack Hickman. Seen him play a number of times.
Billy Stedman. That's it.
Billy Stedman, obviously.
I've seen Jack Hickman play a number of times. I think he's quick. He's very lively on the ball, and yeah, I think he's good enough to probably get into the first team. I know Reece Ford is currently injured, but I've seen him play once or twice. Chris Camwell is very, very highly rated, and he's been with the first team quite a lot.
He made a debut 2 seasons ago, didn't he?
Yeah, well the thing is with Camwell, we look like he's about to get into the team, and he's just on the verge of getting there. And then we signed 2 left backs who play in his position.
I like Camwell because you go on an away day, you see him. I remember.
Oh, he's always
He's always there. Almost like Notts County away. I'm walking around the concourse. I just see him in his hat walking around. I'm there like Shrewsbury Town away a few seasons ago. He's there. Do you know what I mean? He follows statistically as well. It's a Cov fan.
One thing to add, Jordan Shipley's dad goes to pretty much every away game with like the Warwick supporters group. I'm trying to think, the Leamington supporters group thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. He goes with them lot to pretty much every game.
Jordan Shipley's meant to be a Liverpool fan, isn't he?
Yeah, but his dad's a big Cov fan, I think. I'm not too sure. But yeah. And then again, you look at Camwell. I saw him and Ponticelli in the singers' corner once. I think it was as late as last season actually. He came up. I think it was actually the Accrington game at home. He came up and sat kind of to the side of block 14. So yeah, it does show a lot of the players care, and I think I like that a lot more when you know a player can be on the same level as you know, as good as they are, and it's always when they're young as well. Because it's funny how we kind of saw James Maddison as one of our own players, and in pretty much every article you read about him, he made out like he was a big Cov fan with his family, which was clearly clearly not true. I don't want to talk about that anymore. I've ranted about 50 times. Half my tweets on my Twitter page are pretty much that. So I think we should just move on from him.
I'd like to mention Billy Stedman now. He looks like he's going to be a real talent. I've seen a lot of him in pre-season, and he's a player who's stood out for me. He's not particularly tall. He's got really good feet. He's got decent enough balance. He's good on the ball. Good eye for goal. I think he's a player who be a big prospect for us. I don't know if you guys agree.
Well, I've seen Stedman a few times because obviously I've seen him quite a bit. He's a midfielder, right? If I'm correct, a winger, yeah. I'd put him on the same page as pretty much like I said about Hickman. I don't know about that Kyle Finn as well. I've seen him a few times. I know he played for the under 18s quite recently. I remember he started against Blackburn last year in the league. I know he's currently out on loan, so I don't know how he's going to get on loan. I do know a Tamworth fan, if they actually have any fans, but I do actually know a Tamworth fan, so see.
I think that's his make or break for me. I think if he plays well, he'll be called back, and if he doesn't play well, he'll be gone.
Yeah.
They've loaned him out for a reason because they know he won't get game time. They haven't loaned out Billy Steadman because they think he could perhaps get into the team. I think it's been done for a reason.
I don't think Steadman will break through this actual first team of the season. I think it will be under 23s towards the end of the season. He might make an appearance, but he won't break through. I think it'll be, if we say in League One season after this, I think he will start to shine and break through the team then.
Can I just also add as well? This one's gone under the radar, but George Hunt. I think he plays left back or right back. I've only seen him play 20 minutes against Medworth United, but he looked pretty good as well. He played in a defensive position, but he played very well. He passed the ball good. He got rid of the ball. He just was good running down the wing and having the backup onto the winger. So yeah.
Anyway, moving on from this, we should move on to our last topic. It should be next week. What are your thoughts on Tuesday and Saturday's game?
I think we'll start with Tuesday. I don't care at all, but I'm gonna want to win just because I'm going. So
winning mentality.
Yeah, 2-1. Plymouth, I think, will be lucky to get a draw. Very lucky to get a draw. So yeah, but
I'm gonna go with a 2-1 to us against Oxford and a 1-1 against Plymouth.
Yeah, I agree. Something similar to that. Yeah, I know Alex is quite a pessimistic fan, but I think I'm being a bit optimistic. I'm usually too optimistic, but I'm not too fussed about Oxford. Like, I couldn't really care less, but I hope we just win, just to boost the players because it'll kickstart our season maybe. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 win, and then a 1-1 draw on Saturday. Alex, what do you think?
yeah, as I've just said, I think we'll. I forgot what I said. I think I said we'll win. What did I say? We'll win 2-1 and we'll draw 1-1. Yeah, right. Anyway, I think we'll wrap it up there. Has anyone got anything else to say?
No, I've said everything possible.
Have you got anything else to plug?
My YouTube channel, Max Marziano, aka the BTEC Alex Craig. But check that out if you want to.
I'd love to plug yeah.
You can plug the Rugby Town Sunday League team.
Yeah, plug us. You know, we win the league next season.
Yeah, make sure you get a season ticket down at Rugby Town.
Yeah, come down to Kilsby Lane.
Anyway, thanks for everyone for listening. Don't know when the next episode will be out. It should be out. I think we can do one after the Plymouth game or the Oxford game.
I'd say Plymouth.
Yeah, I'd probably say Plymouth as well. But yeah, if we get a popular demand for one after Oxford, then we probably will do one for that. Thank you everyone for listening, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Goodbye.